Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Becky. My family and I just moved from Alabama to Arkansas to live our dream life in the Ozark Mountains. We bought this 1994 single wide mobile home to fix up and customize to fit our family of 7. If you saw our last video, then you know we just moved in last week. So today we're gonna organize my sewing nook and we're gonna bake some pumpkin muffins. Okay, so this is the area that we're working on today. It's going to be my sewing nook. It's kind of a cluster right now, so let me show you what's going on over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go through each of the totes because they're all full of fabric and vintage sheets that I use for sewing. Then I'm going to condense it all down to go into a shelf that I've got. I feel like I may be a little too optimistic for my own good on that. This basket though has my collectible bells in it. So that will be a different video because I'm not condensing that down since it is a collection. And then hopefully at the end of this video, this corner will look at least a little better.
So I just wanted to take a minute to talk about my infrequency on this channel. My goal is to post 2 to 3 videos a week, but can I just get an amen that moving across the country is super stressful? So I've been trying to get us into a somewhat normal routine with school and our day-to-day lives. Travis started band last week, so I have to take him there in the mornings and just trying to get school done every day and organize this house. I am recording, but we don't have internet at the house yet, so I have to go down to town to upload, and that's been a little more difficult than I had thought it would be. But I did want to let you guys in on this part of my life. This part of my life is just for me. It is my stress relief. It is my creative outlet. It's how I express myself. And I would not be the person that I am without sewing. Now, I'm sure that sounds pretty weird for those of you that don't know me in real life. But being a stay-at-home mom for 14 years now, in the beginning, and for a long time actually, I really struggled with losing my identity and trying to figure out who I am now as a mom, as a stay-at-home mom, not working, not being around other adults. A large part of getting myself back was expressing myself in how I dress. Now for me, modesty is extremely important. I want to represent Christ, even in how I dress. So for years, I tried to dress what I thought a good Christian wife, mom, who appreciated modestly, should being the key word, dress. And I felt like the biggest fake, the biggest phony that there was. So I had to learn how to do me. Honestly, that sounds really weird, and I'm sure that is not correct grammar, but I had to learn how to do me modestly. And it's around that time that I discovered the vintage fashion community on Instagram and on YouTube. And I fell in love with the dresses, the hair, the makeup, everything about it. I fell in love with. This is my favorite pattern book, by the way. It helped me learn how to sew. If you want to learn how to sew a quick and easy dress, not complicated, but still look amazing, get this book. Anyway, so that was around 2015, 2016 that I discovered my love for vintage dresses. I also appreciated that most of them were modest, so it felt like a really good fit, and I started buying vintage dresses, vintage reproduction dresses on eBay, Facebook groups, but they were pretty pricey and I racked up a good bit of debt. So I scaled back. I sold a lot of things that I regret selling actually, but I just could not afford to dress like that. Now, growing up my whole life, my mom sewed. She always sewed our Easter dresses. She would tell me how she learned to sew in high school, and that was a creative outlet for her because she was finally able to dress how she wanted to. So I really appreciated that and always wanted her to teach me how to sew. But of course, as a teenager growing up in the early 2000s, whatever, I was not going to have time for that. So I never sat down and learned. So fast forward to 2019, I was finally tired of buying clothes that I didn't feel like myself in, I didn't feel good in, and they were usually cheaply made, fast fashion, so I didn't feel good about buying. Or I would go to the thrift store and just buy clothes that didn't mean anything to me. So I got tired of that, told Tommy that I wanted a sewing machine and I was finally gonna learn how to sew. So the boys and Tommy got me the Gertie Sews Jiffy dresses for Mother's Day that year. I bought a sewing machine and of course, YouTube Academy, which teaches us everything nowadays. I used all that and slowly but surely I have learned to sew, and I was so super excited when I was able to sew my first wearable dress. I have never felt so good about anything in my life, y'all. So obviously when you look at me, my style is not the normal, and I do stand out and get comments when I'm in public. Honestly, they're all good comments. I've never had someone look at me and call me weird or ask me why I'm dressed like that unless they mean it like, ooh, why are you dressed like that? But normally I get, oh, I love your dress. And you can ask Tommy, it is the hardest thing for me to say, thank you, I made it. Or thank you, I sewed this myself. I usually just say thank you and kind of blush awkwardly.
Okay, so this is where I'm at so far. It's looking really good over here. I'm really happy with how organized my fabric is. You can definitely tell what my favorite colors are. So that's got all my spools of thread in it, and it'll be hung up somewhere. Somewhere. This was actually my aunt's. It is full of her sewing notions, so I've got to open it, clean it out, and put my sewing notions in it. And then we're going to put a shelf here for all my decorations, and eventually the sewing cabinet the sewing machine that's in this cabinet will go up there as well. So here's what I've got left to do. I've got some projects that are already cut out or need altered. I've got the boys' quilt backings, quilt fronts, and some more fabric for the quilts. I'm not quite sure where those are gonna go. That's my sewing notions. Like I said, they're going in that. And the other box Tommy's working on, that's our sheet for our bed. Tommy's clothes. My bells are in here. I've got a window shelf that's gonna go up here, and my bells will go on top of that. That's extra linen, so we're gonna vacuum pack those and they'll go under the bed. We've still got to get a box spring so we can get our bed off the floor. Curtains, my crochet and stuff will probably go in the closet. Craft box is going to go under the bed. And then I've got a ton of laundry to do. So yep, that's where we're at so far.
So we're going to take a break from organizing and make some deliciously easy, non-complicated, Weight Watchers friendly pumpkin muffins. All you need is a box of spiced cake mix, a can of pumpkin puree, and a cup of water. So you're going to preheat your oven to 350, then you're going to mix all 3 ingredients together. It is really that simple. Need a muffin tin, a greased muffin tin. I used a mini muffin pan because this makes each muffin worth 1 smart point on the blue plan. Then you're going to pop them in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. Okay, so back to organizing and back to my story. Remember when I said that I could not afford to buy vintage dresses or even vintage reproduction dresses? Well, that is my biggest tip, the biggest question that I get about my dresses is, where do I get my fabric? And that is the main reason that I learned to sew. My dresses are mainly made from old sheets, and I hate saying old, so I usually just say vintage sheets that I get at the thrift store. I can get a queen size flat sheet for $3, sometimes less, at a thrift store. And that's a lot of fabric. I can make a whole dress from one sheet for $3, y'all. Of course, you still have to have the zipper and the notions, but that's a couple of dollars as well. So here's a close-up of the finished shelf. I got this Amish doll in Tennessee from an actual Amish store. I have some old thread on wooden spools, one of my favorite patterns, a sewing machine book from the 1970s, some gadgets that were in my aunt's sewing notion box, this cool little power cutter. I just thought it looked really neat, and it's got to be from like the 60s or 70s. And then this picture, y'all, this is my mama. It is from her yearbook in 1962 or 63. I'm sure she's going to correct me on that. That is when she learned to sew. I came across it in her yearbook and took a picture of it, and I'm just in love with this shelf, y'all. So here is my finished sewing nook. The rest of the room is still a utter and complete mess, but this little corner is giving me sanity right now. It's giving me life. Here's my fabric collection, and I still cannot believe that I fit it all on this shelf, y'all. That was a lot. That was like 4 totes of fabric that I fit on that shelf. here's my sewing machine. It's not anything special. It was from Walmart, less than $120. I will put a link to it in the description box because it has been a great one to learn on. So that's it. Here's my sewing nook. So leave me a comment and let me know what your favorite part of my nook is. And here is a sneak peek of my Halloween costume. Does anyone have any guesses of what I'm going to be based on this fabric alone? I will be doing a video of sewing my Halloween costume. Let me know in the comments below if you can guess what or who I'm going to be.
So that's all I have for you today. If you tried out the recipe, please let me know. I would love to hear from you. If you liked today's video, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell button. That way you know when I post another video. And make sure to check out this video of when we moved in last week. And I can't wait to share the rest of our journey with you and how our house turns out. We've got a lot of plans coming up. We've got a lot of videos coming up. It's going to be a lot of organizing just to get us in here and get it to not be so crazy. And then I've got some cleaning videos, and we've got some renovation videos, and maybe some more vlogs and cooking and cleaning, and just a whole lot more coming up on this new adventure of ours. I may even show you around town one day. Who knows? But just remember that God made you special, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!